got the Handmaid's Tale series finale. Spoilers ahead, we're going to talk about it. I really enjoyed the finale. I think they tied things up so well. Let's talk about it. The sun opens up and we see that June is standing in front of a bonfire. We learned that Boston has been fully liberated from Gilead, and it only took like 19 days for Gilead to get the heck out of there. We learned that New York and Massachusetts, that Kansas have all been liberated. Really, June cares about Colorado because that's where Hannah is with her family. She stands in front of the bonfire. Rita is there. Moira comes up to her and she asks, like, have you heard anything about Janine? No one knows where Janine is at this moment, and so they're all very concerned for her. And I'm so sorry for all my Nick girlies, but Nick is dead. He is for sure dead. We see June kind of reflect on her relationship with Nick. Obviously, she loved him. There's some very complicated feelings there. He obviously loved her. No matter how you feel about Nick, they had a special connection. Yeah, it's too bad that he's gone, that things just didn't end differently. But June kind of reflects on that. June runs into Luke, who's telling her, like, he's about to go help figure out how to turn the power back on for Boston. Like, he's busy. June sees how dedicated he is. Like, he is helping so many people. He's, like, getting things done. And June's really happy for him that he's, like, working so hard. June is very concerned for Hannah, and they have a conversation about Hannah, and she mentions Colorado and how she wishes Colorado was already overthrown. Luke just reminds her, like, one state at a time. We're going to get her. We're going to help. And so June smiles as he turns around to go turn the power back on in Boston. June continues, like, just having memories of herself and Hannah. So, like, the only person really on June's mind at this moment is Hannah. So June meets with Mark, and Mark lets June know that the Mackenzies, Hannah's, like, Gilead family, have been restationed from Colorado to DC. So she's closer. She's like 2,000 miles closer to June. And he's like, see, that's progress, right? June asks him, like, where's Janine? Have y'all made any progress figuring out where Janine is? So he takes her to this giant wall of all, like, these missing posters, and June stares at Janine's picture, just so concerned for Janine. Mark lets June know, like, you're off duty, go get some rest, and she's like, you need to get some rest. We learn a little bit more about Mark in this moment. He talks about how he has a son who lives with his ex-wife in Hawaii, and he's like, there's not a day that I don't think about them. What I'm doing is for them. Mark says, like, it's their job to bring down Gilead because he doesn't want his son to have to be the one to do it later. They do talk about Aunt Lydia. Aunt Lydia apparently is working for them now. She's alive, and, you know, June just makes a joke about how, like, she has, like, 9 lives like a cat, and Mark's like, yeah, but she's being our eyes and ears, and so we know that Lydia is looking for Janine. We see another clip of June kind of thinking about Hannah while they're at this carnival. She momentarily loses Hannah, and, you know, she runs back to her, she finds her, and Hannah's like, you lost me, and she's like, I will never lose you. I will always find you. And so we know this is the only mission really on June's heart right now, is to find her daughter. June happens upon Serena and her baby, and they talk a little bit. Serena congratulates June on her victory, and June reminds her, hey, this wouldn't have happened without you, without your involvement. And Serena kind of makes a joke how she's helped Boston fall twice. Obviously, the first time she was not on the right side, but the second time she finally made the right decision. Serena says she's sorry to hear about Nick's passing, and she tells June, may his memory be a comfort to you. June says, well, he lived a very violent and dishonest life, and Serena reminds her, like, if he thought he had a choice, he would have chosen you. I think Serena's trying to give her permission to mourn Nick, because I think June has been viewing Nick as kind of a traitor the last moments of his life. You know, like, after his betrayal, I think June has been just kind of dealing with some complicated feelings over Nick, because obviously she loves him. They have this great history together. But, you know, he did some stuff, and he kind of chose Gilead at the end. He died in that plane. And I know some people argue that he knew what was going on, and that's why he got on that plane. But I'm sorry, I don't see that. I think he chose his life as a commander, and he got on that plane, and he was unaware that it was about to explode. And that's how his life ended, and that sucks. That's just my opinion, but, like, I don't know. So, but I think in this moment, Serena's giving June the permission to mourn him, to realize that he was a big part of her life. She loved him, he loved her, and it, you know, it just sucks that he's gone. Serena does tell June that she can't get a Canadian passport, she can't get a passport into the EU. She's like, I guess I'm just a nobody. And June goes, no, you're his mother. Be that. So Serena's kind of realizing, like, that's her job. She is his mother. So June, Serena, and Mark all walk up to this bus. Mark lets Serena know, like, hey, I'm putting you on this bus. You're going to be taken to a refugee camp. And Serena's like, well, I don't have a passport. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'm working on it. And so Serena looks at Mark and goes, well, I guess my fate's just in your hands. And Mark goes, I will find you. And I know a lot of people kind of like stand Mark and Serena together. And it kind of is almost alluding like they kind of care about each other. So like maybe there's a future there, I don't know. Before Serena gets on that bus, she apologizes to June. She apologizes for the thing she did. She's like, I know what I've done to you is shameful. And June goes, yeah, you should be ashamed. And Serena apologizes, and she genuinely is apologizing to June. And June goes, I forgive you, Serena. Go in grace. And Serena is so thankful for June's forgiveness. And so she gets on that bus, and I think she's finally able to let go of her past. I think she will always feel guilty, hopefully, about all the terrible things she's done. But June gave her such a gift in this moment by forgiving her. And as the bus pulls away, Mark goes, that was so kind of you. June goes, well, you got to start somewhere. Mark says that her old sector, her old neighborhood has opened up. He gives her something, and he says, like, if you have trouble getting in, just give them my name. As June walks around the city, she stands in front of this abandoned building, and all of a sudden she hears the words, this used to be a great ice cream place. The salted caramel was great. I hope it opens back up soon. And it's Emily. We see Emily. The last thing we heard about Emily was that she left Canada to go back into Gilead to fight, and then we know that was basically because Alexis Bledel didn't want to be on the show anymore, and they just kind of had to do something with their character. But I'm so glad she's back for the finale. They have this moment, like, oh my fucking God, and then Emily goes, that's blasphemous. And then June holds her and goes, you pious little shit. And it's so great. It's a call back to their first conversation that we see in like episode 1 of season 1, talking about the ice cream place. It's just so sweet. They are back together. She said that she's been a Martha in Gilead for a commander that's been her friend. She's been stationed there and she's been safe. And June is just overjoyed to see her. June and Emily walk around the wall. They see like the guards from Gilead have been strung up, and they're talking about things. Emily says that she was able to call her wife, and there's some things that they need to work through, and she was able to FaceTime her son, and she was so happy to see him. And June talks about like family, and like she wasn't sure if Emily just like left her family, and Emily's like, no, like they're my family, like we're a family. Things just look different, and so family looks different for everyone. Everyone's situation is different. But Emily clearly loves her family and her son, and she felt called to go back to Gilead to fight. And they stand there looking at the wall that is now filled with messages of hope. June tells Emily all she wants is Hannah, and she just wants things to be the way that they used to be. She's like, I know that's impossible. And then Emily looks at her and goes, well, I've been kind of having to change my concept of what impossible is. We're here together in this moment. That seemed pretty impossible. So June starts imagining how things could have been. We see all the handmaids like in this alternate reality karaokeing to Landslide. We see Janine, like she has 2 eyes. Vita's there, Moira's there, Emily's there. We see handmaids that we've lost like Alma together. They're all singing together. And it's just like a sweet moment of like what could have been. We see June pick up her old handmade robe, and she goes to this bonfire in the street and puts it in the fire to burn it. And she turns around and starts walking down the bridge, and the lights start coming on. Luke was successful in turning the power back on. And so June smiles as she walks away. June finally falls asleep for like the first time in a very long time, and all of a sudden she gets woken up by Mark. Mark brings her to like the new border of Gilead, and all of a sudden we see some trucks show up. Guards pull Janine out of a car and just dump her on the ground and walk away, and June runs to Janine's side. Janine seems like she's not feeling well, like she's obviously like not doing so hot. Then we see Mrs. Putnam, Charlotte, and Aunt Lydia come out of one of the cars. They approach June and Janine, and June tells Janine, turn around, Janine. Look who's here. Mrs. Putnam says her goodbyes to Charlotte and says, I just want you to be safe. And Charlotte runs into the arms of Janine, and they're giggling together. It's so sweet. It's so nice. They're finally reunited together. Janine is so happy. Aunt Lydia tells June to take care of their Janine. And June tells her, thank you so much. Before Lydia leaves, she goes under his eye. And we know Aunt Lydia's going back, like, to possibly fight some more. From what I heard, she will be in the Testament, so I think we'll see more of Aunt Lydia. And I'm just so glad that she's kind of turned this page into becoming a better person, to fighting for what's right. She helped Janine reunite with Charlotte, and that is great. Although it's bittersweet, because as June watches Charlotte and Janine reunite, we can tell that all June is thinking about is Hannah and how she so desperately wants this moment for her and her own daughter. Later on, we see June and Luke standing around as buses are being brought in. People from Alaska are being brought back to Boston, and she sees her mother get off the bus with her daughter. So, like, we see them reunited. It's very sweet. We see June sitting there with her baby, and she's telling her baby how much she loves her, and she's telling her baby as her mother stands and looks on from the hallway how she loves her, but she has to go and fight for all the little girls in Gilead. She has to go, and but even though she's not going to be there with her baby, she's like, you will always know I'm there. I love you so much. And June's mother is watching from the hallway, and she obviously has like tears in her eyes, and she's very upset. June follows her mom to where this wall is of like missing people, like memorials for people. June asks her mother if she wouldn't mind watching her daughter for a little while longer, and her mom's like, how long is a little while longer? And June is like, well, I just need you to keep her safe. And her mom goes, well, who's going to keep you safe? And she's crying. It's a very sweet moment between June and her mother. June reminds her mom that none of them are safe, that Gilead's going to keep coming back and coming back unless they keep fighting, and that Gilead doesn't need to be like beaten, it needs to be broken, and she has to do it. And her mom goes like, why can't someone else do it? And June goes, you're the one who taught me to fight. You were at all these protests all throughout my childhood. You taught me to be a fighter, to be a strong woman. And her mom is like obviously so worried about her, but so proud of her as well. And her mom says, you know, I think I'm just now starting to get to know you as a person. June kind of tells her mom that she's not sure if she's herself is a good mother. And her mother reassures her, like, you are such a good mother. And tells June that she should write a book. She thinks June should write a book to show how much of a warrior she is, like a book for her daughter, a book for other people's children, book for women who are not reunited with their children. Like, she encourages June to share her story, tells June to write for Hannah. June runs into Luke and they have a conversation. Luke lets June know that Mayday is moving to a different location and he's gonna go help Mayday. And June apologizes to Luke because she's like, I underestimated you. And Luke's like, yeah, you did. And they shared this moment together where they even talk about, like, you know, I don't think we know each other anymore. It's not the same as it was before. We're like new people now. Luke asks June what she's gonna do, and June says, I want to talk to Mark. I'm gonna go get Hannah. Is there anything else to do? And Luke goes, meet you there. And June goes, fuck yeah. And then Luke goes, yeah, fuck yeah. Their goodbye is so sweet because it's like there are these two people that have grown apart. They're different people. I think they still care about each other. They still love each other. I don't think they're not gonna be a couple anymore because obviously that's just not realistic. They both have like the same mission in mind, but they're gonna be doing their own different things. I think this is like a perfect way for them to say goodbye. They're just recognizing that they're in different places now. They're different people now, and they're kind of moving on. And June has like another memory of all three of them at the aquarium, you know, before everything went down. She's just kind of appreciating their life before everything happened. Luke also tells June that she should write her story down. He says, you should write a book. You should remember everyone that helped you. There's so many people while you were there that loved you. And he mentions Nick. And he's like, these people are worth remembering. And then he leaves. We see Serena at the refugee camp. Like, obviously, she's a little scared and people aren't maybe the most friendly. And honestly, this is probably the life for Serena because I feel like no matter where she goes, people are probably gonna find out what kind of person she was. But now her sole mission is to take care of her son, and talks to her son, and she's like, you're all I ever wanted. You are all I need. I am your mother. And it's a very sweet moment between her and her son, and she knows like things are going to be okay. We see June walking through her old neighborhood, and she comes upon the Waterford house that has been, you know, burned to ashes. She walks around the house. She goes up the stairs and looks at her old room. She's looking around. She starts saying the words that we heard in the very first episode. She's talking about the room. She starts talking about Gilead, and she has like a tape recorder in her hand. So clearly she's starting to write her book. She holds out her hand to a young Hannah. This book is for Hannah. And we see that June in her final moments is there to fight. She's going to continue fighting for her daughter.